Sam Darnold earned himself a lot of money last season when he led the Minnesota Vikings to the playoffs, but the problem is he also lost himself a lot of money last year, especially when you look at the last two games of the season. The last game of the regular season against the Detroit Lions for the #1 seed, they were never in that game. And then when you look at the playoff game against the Rams, they got blown out. And again, they were never even really competitive in that one. And I think it left a bad taste in a lot of people's mouths, especially from Sam Darnold's performance. But I went back and looked at it, and after further review, I don't think his performance was what we all initially thought. Let's look at some of the film. By the way, a quick disclaimer, multiple times in this video, I called Byron Young Jared Verse. Apparently, I am blind and I cannot tell the difference between number 0 and number 8. Okay, first play here. This is actually the Vikings' very first passing play of the entire game. And the Rams are going to be showing like they're going to bring some pressure, but they're actually going to drop out and only 4 is going to rush. This guy ends up having the running back in man-to-man coverage. So Rams are playing man coverage. Vikings, again, they're going to line up Justin Jefferson here in the backfield, and he's going to just kind of run this flat route, and then they're going to have Addison come out here and run this kind of sit route right here. It looks like the primary read here is going to be Jordan Addison, but you can tell, I mean, before Sam Darnold is able to even really start going through his progressions, these tackles out here on the outside, I mean, they just let the pocket completely collapse from the outside in, and you also have some interior pressure as well that obviously doesn't help. So let's press play here. So we're going to go 3-step quick game, 1, 2, 3. You can see Darnold looking this way. Neither one of these guys are really ready for the ball yet, so he kind of has to move on because, again, we got Jared Verse over here just completely destroying this right tackle, right? So Darnold has to kind of rush through things, but when he looks backside, I mean, this isn't open, this isn't open, so he really has nowhere to go with the ball, okay? And you know what happens? He ends up, again, pocket collapses, and he's sacked. Just nowhere to go with the football, and the pressure happened way too quickly. All right, next one here a little later in the game. Vikings are trying to get this kind of fake screen out here to Justin Jefferson to kind of use him as a decoy to have these defenders sort of bite down on him. Okay, bite down on Justin Jefferson on the fake screen, and then they're going to get the two receivers kind of, going vertical with it, right? And the idea is to pump fake out here to the fake screen, and hopefully these defenders bite on it, and you got a guy open in the vertical. But you can see the Rams do a really nice job of staying disciplined here. So there's a play fake. Again, we're looking out here to Justin Jefferson. Rams don't bite on it. Nobody's open. Sam Darnold again, pocket collapsing from the outside in. He tries to look backside, but again, by the time he's able to even get his head across, he's already got hands on him and he's getting sacked. So again, right, the play isn't there, and by the time Darnold is even able to look for another option here, like right here, there's just nothing, right? And really everything is covered backside anyway. This guy's plastered. The check down is here, but at this point, you might even be losing yards because you have a defender right here closing in on him. Next play here, Vikings go play action, and again, Sam Darnold is pretty much instantly pressured, and it's a shame because there was an explosive play to be made here, actually. So the Vikings are going to go with a dagger concept. They're going to go here with the clear out, and he's going to come behind him on the deep dig, and it's actually going to come open, and it would have been an explosive play, but you'll see here the Rams are actually going to come on the cat blitz or the corner blitz. This guy here is going to blitz. You can kind of see him peeking inside pre-snap anyway, right? So let's run this thing through real quick. You can see what happens. Okay, motion Jefferson out. There's the play fake, and as soon as we get to our drop, we got that corner in our face, that DB in our face, and we don't even have a chance to get to the progression. And again, this would have been open. You could see here Justin Jefferson right here, wide open in the middle of the field if Sam Darnold would have had time. Now, you could say, oh, well, Sam Darnold should have recognized the corner blitz pre-snap. Yes, but also at the same time, they had a protection called to where it should have protected him. So the Vikings are going to go, they're going to full slide to the right, okay? Everybody's sliding right except for the tight end. He's going to be locked on this defender right here. So really what should happen is at the snap, the tackle, who is also sliding right over here, should recognize that this this defensive end is kind of spiking inside. So that should alert him to get his eyes back outside because, again, they're sliding right. So he has help on the inside, right? So when this guy comes inside, the right tackle has help. The right guard is there. So he should still be looking outside to protect his gap or his zone from anything that comes off that way, and he would have picked up this corner blitz, at least in theory, right? So you could see here, he initially goes outside and looks that way, right? But then he gets distracted with Verse coming inside, and he just completely loses sight of his responsibility out here on the edge. And then you got, 3 defenders in Sam Darnold's face before he even has a chance to look down the field, essentially. All right, next play here. Vikings running some stick concept, right? We're going to get the out. We're going to get the crosser from the tight end. Kind of the same thing from Jefferson, right? And again, the Rams are going to be in tight man-to-man coverage. And Darnold out of the pistol here. Quick game, quick set. It's covered. Guess what? Let's get to our second read. That's also covered. Let's try to get back to our tight end. But guess what? By the time we get back to our tight end, pressured immediately. We have to move off of our spot. And at this time, at this point, we're dancing around in the pocket. Really, we need to get rid of this thing right here instead of trying to be Superman and make a play happen. But it's the playoffs. He's trying to do too much, right? And he ends up getting sacked. So again, this is a bad sack, and he has to throw this ball away. But the play just simply wasn't there once again, right? You're trying to go quick game up top to this out route. That's plastered. Second read, plastered. Third read doesn't even have time to get to it. And then by that point, he's just dancing around looking for something that isn't there, and he goes down to the ground. All right, next play here. This is a really bad decision from Sam Darnold. It ends up being an interception. Okay, and it's one of those times where you could tell that Sam Darnold kind of just predetermined where he was going to throw the ball pre-snap, right? He had his mindset on one thing, and the pocket, of course, once again, did not help with the pressure, and he just kind of flings it, and he throws an interception, right? So, what the Vikings are trying to do, they're trying to hit this speed out. Okay, so they're going to go switch release here. Addison's going to come over, speed out. We're going to get the cross, and we're going to get this receiver coming this way, right? And he should have hit this receiver backside because he's going to come open. But again, kind of just predetermined this thing, right? So let's hit play here. There's the snap. Boom. We're at our drop. We're still looking at it. And to take this thing back one more time, really, he should have known pre-snap this probably wasn't going to work out just due to the alignment of the DB. You can see the DB has that outside leverage advantage from the wide receiver. So pre-snap, the DB is looking to have that advantage. I think the Vikings were planning on this switch release here, kind of creating a rub to create some space here, but it just doesn't work out how they expected. So press play. There's a switch release. You can see here the DB, it's actually a really nice job because he does get his hips flipped to this way towards the field side, but he flips them really smoothly, gets them back. Sam Darnold lets that thing rip, and the DB just jumps in front of it, right? But again, he probably should come off of this thing when he's seen how tight of coverage the DB was playing and hit 83 back here on the backside, who was wide open coming across the middle here, right? But again, let's check out the coverage the pressure that he was under almost immediately. Left guard over here gets beat like a drum. Spin move, pocket collapses on him again. So he kind of just, once again, has to make a choice, and he just makes a bad one and ends up being an interception. So this one right here, bad throw, predetermined, not good. Next play here, again, pressure affecting the play. The Vikings are trying to hit Jefferson on this deep corner here. Okay, you're going to have the deep corner. You're going to have the route underneath, and you're going to have something in the middle here, right? So what ends up happening is the Rams are going to run a simulated pressure. They have all these guys up here at the line of scrimmage. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This guy's kind of hovering around as well. So 5 guys lined up. Could maybe count 6, right? And they only end up rushing 4, right? So they run a simulated pressure, and they get a guy home free, okay? Number 4 ends up coming home free on Sam Darnold. But this is another play that really, it could have been there, right? It could have been there, but it was just affected from the pressure. So let's snap it. All right, we're at the top of our drop right now, right? Okay, we already have this second level defender rushing in. Right guard completely whiffs on him. Running back comes over, does what he can, right? But again, we're not even to the top of our drop yet, and we already have a guy, 2 feet away from us. We have another guy right here also beating his offensive lineman, and we have another guy coming off the edge completely unaccounted for, right? And if you look at our receivers, none of them are in a position yet to even think about catching a ball, right? They all have their backs turned to the quarterback. It's not there, and Sam Darnold again is already preparing to run for his life, right? So we get to this point again. We're still waiting, and by the time we get to a point where we can maybe think about throwing something, guess what happens? Pocket is just completely collapses right in front of him. He has no room to throw this ball, right? Even if he throws this thing right here, There's a defender right here waiting on it. Maybe he can fit it in there. But again, there really just isn't enough room to throw this thing, because if you look down here, this guy now is free to the quarterback. This guy now free to the quarterback. So there's just no chance for him to make a throw on anything, right? And there was even, even with a tick second longer, he could have hit, him, or he has Justin Jefferson coming open on the deep sail or the deep corner. So, again, pressure just affecting the play too much, and he gets freaking mollywopped from the backside, and he fumbles the ball, and they return that for a touchdown. All right, next one here, the Vikings are just going to run verticals. So we're going to get verticals, 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 vertical, right? And the Rams, again, they're going to line up somebody right here, but he's going to back off. They only end up rushing 4 once again, right? But they do a good job on this side of the defensive line running a stunt. So we're going to get this guy spiking in and this guy kind of coming around. And again, everything is just disrupted once again by, take a wild guess, pressure, right? So let's press play. There's 97 spiking inside. Defensive lineman wrapping back around. 74 doesn't come off of it like he should. And Sam Darnold just killed, I mean, what can you say, man? Just check out the receivers at the top of his drop. There's just literally nobody open. This is capped, doubled, capped. There's just nothing. There's nothing he can do. Sacked. Next play here, we're going to run some corner routes, okay? So we're going to get the running back in the flat. We're going to get, I believe it ends up being Jefferson down here at the corner. He comes wide open, right? But the problem is we're looking up here to this side. We're looking at this corner route when really I don't know why, because there's no threat to the flat over here to pull down this flat defender. So really this receiver over here on the corner ends up being doubled, okay? When really over here is where you have the high-low read on this bottom side. So let's press play again. By the way, Rams running a 4-man rush, but the problem is Jared Verse, you keep an eye on him on the right tackle, just absolutely bulldozes the right tackle, and again flushes Sam Darnold out of the pocket. Darnold does what he can, just dumps it off to the running back, but you could see like Darnold is looking right post snap, and I don't really understand why, because there's no underneath flat threat to pull down this flat defender here, right? There's nothing under here to pull him down this way in order to hit this throw right here, right? So I don't know why he's looking right. Initially, when you have over here on the left side, you got a guy in the flat, guy in the intermediate, and a guy deep, right? A little flood over here, and where you could hit a big play down here to this receiver. So I don't know why we're looking right post snap, excuse me. So he's kind of looking to the right over there. But I mean, even that doesn't matter, because by the time he's at the top of his drop, Jared Verse is in his lap and he's having to move out of the way, and he just dumps it off to the running back. All right, last one here I want to look at. Now, this one is one that Sam Darnold probably should have just thrown away, right? He's trying to do too much at this point, and he, takes a bad sack. So essentially what they're going to do, right, they're going to run sort of something that looks like this, right? And then they're going to get this guy coming around. But the problem is the Rams do a really nice job here, okay? So you can see how it kind of plays out here. Everything is covered, right? And the Rams are going to be in a 3 deep coverage, meaning they have 3 deep defenders over here. And the problem I have with this play concept is there's nothing down here on this backside to worry or to hold these defenders, especially 24 up here. Like, he has no threat over here at all. So he's able to kind of work himself into the play side over here, right? So, in theory, you probably would have had like this guy open, or maybe even this guy, if this defender had to run with him. But because you have nobody down here on the backside, these defenders over here can work into the play side and cut off some of these routes that are happening, right? So even on a play where we finally get the snap and we actually have time and we actually have a clean pocket, I mean, there's just nobody open, right? And again, at this point in the game, we're kind of pressing for things. Could we hit our tight end right here? Sure. But at this point, it's a blowout, and that's not really going to do anything. But we still have to hit him, right? When we see everything else is, covered down the field, just hit the tight end, live to see another day, right? But again, Darnold just doing too much, and by the time he is at the point where he has to make a decision, once again, he has a defender grabbing at his leg. So, at this point right here, it's like, okay, man, just check it down or throw it away. Check it down or throw it away. But he just does too much and gets sacked. So let's run that back one more time just to watch this thing in full and in real time, right? Okay, so taking the snap, we're at the top of our drop now. We have to know this isn't there. Dump it off at the tight end. It looks like he was going to. He pump faked, brought it back down, and by that time he had a guy grabbing his ankles. And again, at this point, he had time to kind of just throw that thing away, but this game was a wash at this point by then. So that's the end of the video. Sam Darnold, I think in the grand scheme of things, still earned himself, or at least should have earned himself, a pretty hefty contract. We don't know yet, right? Free agency hasn't started. He still might get that contract, but I have serious doubts that it would be what it would have been prior to the last two games of the season. Appreciate you guys watching. Peace.